Hello world, Krista here with Books and Jams, and I am coming at you today with a book tag. I don't think I have done a tag in almost a year, maybe. It's been a really long time. I wasn't even tagged to do this one, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I really like it. Recently I saw Courtney from Cortagonist do this tag, and not that long ago I also saw Angela from Coffee and Chapters and Jessie Dawn do this tag. I will link all of their videos down below. I will also link down below the original blog post where these questions come from. I believe there are 8 questions, so let us get right into it. The first question is to find a book for each of your initials. My initials are KJR. So I have Keeping the Moon from Sarah Dessen for the K, Just Jane from Nancy Moser for the J, and The Reader for the R. I've never read any of these books. The second question is to count your age along the bookshelf and show what book it is. So I already counted this shelf behind me, and the book that represents my age, which is older than you might think, so I'm not going to tell you, is Black Dove, White Raven. This is by Elizabeth Vine. And I haven't read this one yet, but I am planning on reading Codename Verity by the same author this month. But I found this one at Book Outlet, has the lovely dot to tell me that I got it for cheap. The third question is to pick a book that is set in your country. Since I live in America, there are so many books that are set here, so I wanted to narrow that down, and I've seen others choose a book that is set in your town or city. So I looked up books that are set in Richmond, Virginia, and I found one that's actually on my shelves. And that is The Secrets of Mary Bower by Lois Levine. This is actually the Advanced Reader Edition, which I didn't realize. I ended up having 2 copies of this, and I kept the one that is in better condition, but it's the ARC. Whoops, I should have probably kept the other one. But I believe this is a Civil War historical fiction about a young girl who goes undercover as a spy. I don't remember if she's a spy for the North or for the South. I will have to read it. I'm assuming that if it's set in Richmond, she either begins in Richmond and travels to the North, or begins up north and travels to the South. But I can't remember which one it is. So I would like to read this very soon. It sounds so good, and I love historical fiction. The next question is to pick a book that represents a place that you would like to travel to. I want to go all over, so let me real quick go through them. Prince Edward Island, Croatia, the Pacific Northwest, Ireland, Scotland, and England. Let's go to the UK, Paris, and Iceland. So those are just a few of the places that I would like to travel to. There are lots more. I realize that I have a very huge lack of books that are set anywhere in Africa, because I would really like to go to Africa. I've read Homegoing, so I thought of using that, but I don't own the book. I'm sure I must have a book, or at least one, that's set in Africa, but I couldn't think of it as I was looking through my shelves. So how sad. But I would like to travel to Africa as well. For the 5th question, I also have a stack of books, and it is to pick a book that is your favorite color. I like it light, I like it dark, but this teal is my fave. It's so pretty. The next question is to pick a book that you have the fondest memories of reading. And I have a few for this as well, because it's so hard to narrow down to just one. I remember going to the library when I was quite young and coming home with stacks of books, and Beverly Cleary is one of the first authors that I tried to read everything that she had ever written. So I have a lot of fond memories of the first times that I was allowed to go to the library on my own, on my bike. Back in the day, that was a thing. Yeah, I would come home with loads of Beverly Cleary. The first book that I remember crying to is Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. Such a good story. And the first book that I remember my family reading together is this series of books that are called Value Tales, and each one is a biography of a different person that highlights a different value or character trait that that person represents. So we have Beethoven with Giving, I have Nellie Bly with Fairness, Helen Keller for Determination, Ralph Bunche for Responsibility. So these books taught me a lot about different people and about different character traits, and I remember reading them with my parents when I was quite young. So yeah, lots of fond memories of those. And I have a stack. I mean, I only pulled out 4, but I have a stack that's probably this high of even more of these books. They're fantastic. I do not own the book that answers the next question, and that is, what book did you have the hardest time reading? And for this, hands down, was Moby Dick by Herman Melville. I had to read it for a class in college. It was awful, and I hated it. Every moment of it I hated. It took me forever. Because it was a seminar type class, there were only about 8 of us, I could not get away with not reading the book. I had to read the book. And it's a chunker, and it's awful. And Yeah, that was definitely the hardest book I've ever read. The last question is, what book in your TBR pile will you feel the most accomplished when you read? I'm not sure that I will ever get to this book, but I own Anna Karenina, and this is by Leo Tolstoy. It's a classic, and it is a chunker. I believe there are 800 something pages in this edition. 870. Yes, 870 pages in this edition. I'm not sure I will ever actually make it through this book, but I am determined to give it a try one of these days, and I will definitely feel pretty accomplished if I do end up reading this book. There it is. I will put the questions down below in the description box if you decide this is a tag you would like to do. I would love for you to do it, but I also have 3 people that I'm going to tag. I would like to tag Lindsay from The Wandering Reader because she always tags me in tags that I don't do. I'm gonna do some of them someday. I'm also going to tag April from Getting Hugga With It. I'm also going to tag Elliot Brooks. So I will link their 3 channels down below. I would love to see what they come up with for their answers, and I would love to see you do this tag as well. As always, I love chatting with you guys down in the comments, so I would love to hear from you. What book would you feel the most accomplished finishing? What book do you own currently? Would you feel the most accomplishment in finishing? I would love to hear that down in the comments below. And if you do this tag, also let me know that down below so that I can come over to your channel and check it out. And anything else that you want to chat about, go ahead and chat with me down in the comments. You know I love it. Give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will be chatting with you in another video very soon. Bye.